Alright, this video is about bias-based statistics. The police, just like anyone else, victimize those who it's easiest to victimize. Those who are least likely to have someone there in person to help them. Those who don't have money for a lawyer. Those without someone there in person, who are by themselves, or who are surrounded by other easy to victimize people who they can easily discredit. Now, when we look at arrest and conviction statistics versus statistics gathered by others, we see a very large discrepancy. Like the fact that women are 11 times more likely to be stalkers, the fact that women are more likely to engage in gang stalking and more likely to get assistance in gang stalking another individual and then play victim. Those bias-based statistics show that although reality is one way, the convictions show a bias primarily against males. The idea that a woman cannot be a predator, and the idea that a man cannot be a victim. Men have to be afraid to call the police in a domestic violence situation. They get ostracized and treated like they're the scum of the earth, or called pussies, or vaginas, or made fun of in other ways like that, because a man is not supposed to go to those services like a woman can. A man who does that is a horrible excuse for a man. He's not manly. If a woman screams and shouts, we're supposed to listen to her. If a man screams and shouts, we're supposed to victimize him. These bias-based statistics show that it isn't just the American public, but also the court systems. And all of this is primarily decided by the police officers themselves. What evidence they're willing to look at, what they're willing to write down, and what they are willing to, as in the case of Sheriff Scott Acosta, willing to omit. Now, in all of these cases, they knew that they were going to be preventing me from going to court. They had already decided that. Just like they had already decided they were going to send me to prison in Lincoln before they ever took me to Garden County or Scottsbluff. This was all decided by Scott Acosta, the very man I was trying to turn in. He assaulted me on the 16th, and I had to go back to him. Sorry, the 16th of December of 2020, and I had to go back to him and his deputies, who had repeatedly gone out of their way to help my predators, even knowing there was child abuse involved. They helped my predators over and over to get away with the crimes against me, refused to actually investigate. Now, Molly Smith of Sidney, Nebraska is a witness to this. So is Laura Nelson. These witnesses need to be subpoenaed. Their statements do need to be taken. I believe that Molly Smith would be wholeheartedly willing to come forward on her own. I don't think that should be an issue. With Laura Nelson, yeah, she was involved too much and didn't speak up, knowing that I was being abused. She was aware that I was being abused. She was there for part of that abuse, not just across the internet. She was there on multiple occasions when Christopher Kurth and Leslie Snell's brother-in-law, Carl Snell, took part in trying to threaten, harass, and intimidate me into leaving town, including threats of death. Now, is she going to speak up? Brenda Dickinson spoke to me on multiple occasions where she told me that these things were going on and that she was aware of it, but did she ever speak up? No, she didn't. Then we get fake public pretenders like Steve Elmshauser or Catherine Hay. And then we get people who are supposed to be our community support workers and help us because our rights are being violated. People like Jen Beebe from Region 1. These people actually exist. Now, having to depend on people who really are only there for vacation is complicated. The fact that I invested so much money into what was supposed to be help, was supposed to be someone actually looking at my evidence, and they didn't. The people who actually went in with me to places didn't know what was going on. They didn't have the time to actually look at it. The one person who actually did was Laura Nelson, and she didn't say a damn thing. She just sat there looking stupid. Just like the day that I was trying to turn in Ted Bollinger and Alicia Bollinger because of another safety issue at my grandma's funeral. People want to ignore all of the parts where I am speaking plainly. When I am in a state of panic, a state of distress, a state of chaos, I'm going to be a lot louder. When I am continually interrupted, I'm going to get louder. I have to be heard. There are too many lives at stake, and the number of bodies involved shows that. The number of people who are already dead because of people and places that I spoke out about beforehand and was dismissed outright or abused for coming forward because I was alone. These bias-based statistics show bias by the police, by the public, by courts and judges, and even public pretenders. Anytime there are at-risk adults, there needs to be someone there for their safety, for their protection, to prevent officers from doing the things that have happened repeatedly. Obviously, I cannot depend on somebody who is a parent because they can be threatened with CPS. They can be intimidated with CPS. Well, you have dangerous people around your kids. Really? In most of these cases, the parents are a lot more dangerous to those kids than I have ever even been capable of. Like Amy Witcher and Andrew Witcher, their drug use, actual drug use, and they admitted to it. The fact that Amy's daughter told her that she was being molested by Andrew, and Amy didn't do anything. Why would she? She was strung out on cocaine. Bias-based statistics are the ones where you have the convictions. Oh, well, all these black people are convicted of this, so, you know, they must have deserved it. That's what I get to hear in Chapel, Nebraska. And then we've got BLM saying, hey, this actually shows that black people are being victimized at a higher rate. Well, that's because of assumed guilt or ease of victimization. It's easy to go, oh, well, you know, there's a black man. He must have done it. We'll go get him. But who's more victimized than a black man? The homeless and the disabled. Who do the police kill more than anyone else? The homeless and the disabled. Those are the top two spots, buddy. There are more hate crimes against the homeless than all other hate crimes in America times 5. This is not okay. That's not even counting police interactions. That's not even counting the courts or public pretenders. These people need to be recorded because they are allowed to get away with crime after crime after crime They can get away with not representing their clients, and they still get paid for it. This is misuse of your tax dollars. Just like Sheriff Scott DaCosta wasted over $100,000 of your tax dollars to have me incarcerated to hide his crimes, gain access to my evidence, and destroy evidence of him and his officers' wrongdoing. Thank goodness not all of the evidence that I had was titled. That was duplicates. Unfortunately, with it being duplicates and the originals being, well, for example, a lot of the stuff that I record here on my computer, it starts off with a WN and then a number that comes after it. I have to search through thousands of those on my computers to try to find the ones that I'm looking for. The ones that they destroyed the double of, but they were too dumb to destroy the original. So I still have much of the evidence, not all of it, but enough for convictions.